Guys, welcome back to my channel English in a Blink, and today I'm going to look at some common mistakes that we make when we're doing our speaking or we're doing our writing. Are you making those? You're not sure? Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go check them out. Okay, so the first thing is adjectives and adverbs. Guys, when you're using your adjective and adverbs, make sure that you use them correctly, all right? What are adjectives? Adjectives, they describe, identify, and quantify people or things and usually go in front of a noun, okay? They don't change if noun is plural. And adverbs, they modify verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs and usually come after the verb. Okay, so if you look over here, he is a slow driver. So slow is your adjective. And when you have your adverb, he drives slowly. And slowly here is an adverb. Well, most of the time, okay, when you have your adverbs, you make them by adding ly to an adjective, as in the example right over here, so slow, and then you have slowly. But again, you have few adverbs which are irregular, okay? So when you have your fast as an adjective, fast is also an adverb, hard and good and well, all right? So well is your adverb. So make sure when you're using them the correct way, okay? Moving on with the next rule, which is pay attention to homophones, okay? So what are homophones, people? What do you mean by them? Homophonic words are words that are pronounced in the same way. Hang on, I will bring it right here. And that's going to solve our problem. Okay, so homophonic words are ones that are pronounced the same way as other words but had different meanings if they are spelled differently. Okay, so like it says over here, those are your homophones when they are pronounced in the same way but the other words have different meanings. So two words, pronunciation is the same but the meaning is different. All right, this can obviously create confusions, and unfortunately, there are many of these words in English language. So when you have your homophone words, because they are sounding the same, all right, meaning is different, so there's a lot of confusion. For example, over here, they are, there, your, it's, I, hair, break, flower, are. Okay, so there's lots of confusion, I'm sure. So whenever you're using them, you have to be very, very careful. When you're writing, be careful to choose the right spelling. And when you listen, remember that word you think you understood may have another meaning. So try to understand that meaning from the context. And something, which is very common, that's a mistake that people make, is this one. All right, so it's and its. This is one very common mistake. Okay, moving on to the next one is your use the correct conjugation of the verb. Okay, this is again very important. Conjugating the verb, very important. So remember to change the verb to agree with the subject. I hope you guys know that subject and verb agreement is the most important thing. So the main subjects you need to be careful with are he, she, it, because they often have a different form to others. So she has 2 dogs. This is right. But she have 2 dogs. This is not right. Okay. So this seemed like a small mistake to make, but unfortunately, it's a very noticeable one. So if you can avoid it, it will make a big difference to how accurate you sound. All right. So when, sometimes maybe when you're speaking and people, you think it's not noticeable and you think you can get away with it, but it's not like that. It's really annoying when you're listening to such things, okay? So make sure you don't do that. And also remember when you describe something using there is or are, the verb must agree with the first item you mention. All right, so like here, there is a sofa, some chairs, and a table. So what is the first item here? This is your sofa, singular, so is. There are some chairs, a table, and a sofa. So here the first item that you mentioned was your chairs, which is a plural. So that's 4 are. Okay, so whatever is the first item, choose your verb according to that. Okay, right. Okay, so now we have next one, which says connect your ideas with conjunctions. So if you want to connect 2 ideas or short phrases, you can do so by using a conjunction. For example, when you say I'm studying English, English is important. It becomes I'm studying English because it's important. All right, so because is the one that is joining these 2. together. The most common conjunctions are and, which is used for addition. So he likes hockey and he plays in a team. So you are adding something, okay? Because we know, to give a reason, we're going out. Why? Because we are bored. But to express a contrast, she wants to study more, but she doesn't have time. So to describe a consequence, Jim's coming round, so I'm cleaning my flat. We have or to describe an alternative. So would you like Coke or Sprite? Well, I prefer Coke. All right, so connect your ideas with conjunctions and use the right ones. Then fifth one is remember the word order for your questions. Yes. All right, so when you are making your questions, word order changes and you have to remember that. So in English, the structure of questions is different to the affirmative form. I'm sure you guys know that. So make sure you remember to change the order of the words or add the auxiliary do. So there are 4 ways to make questions. First one is your with verb to be. So for questions using verb to be, invert the subject and the verb. So here is a question. Are you a singer? All right. So if you're going to answer it, how are you going to say, I am a singer or you are a singer? All right. So then your subject is going to come first and then comes your verb. But when you're making a question, you invert, you use your verb to be first and then comes your subject. All other verbs to make questions for all the other verbs, add the auxiliary do. Okay. So if it is your present tense, use your do, past, did. So do the dance here? I'm not sure. Okay, so when you have your modals to make questions with modal verbs, invert the modal verb and the subject. Again, the same thing, just like this one here. So can he play the piano? Oh, he can play the piano, all right? So again, the same thing happens. You invert. So you use your modal, comes first, and then comes your subject. Then you have your auxiliary verbs for sentences containing an auxiliary verb like have in the present perfect. Invert the auxiliary verb and the subject. So have you seen Bobby? I have seen Bobby. All right. So the same thing happens. Do not forget that you change the word order and have is going to come first and then comes your subject. These rules still applies when you add a question word like what, how, or why. For example, where are you from? Why, when can we meet? And why have they left? Okay. So word order is very important when you're making your questions. Do not forget that. Next is use the right past form of verbs. Okay, now I know that when you're speaking, about past in English, it is not, it's not the easiest form, okay? Because in English, it's not that you just make your past form by adding ed. You have some irregular verbs, approximately around 20. And I'm not telling you guys to, just learn all of them, but it's good. It's good to remember them, all right? I mean, practice. Practice is only going to help. So practice, guys. Okay, so like over here, I have mentioned a few. Go becomes your went. Have is your had. Make, made. Okay, so we went to the mall last Saturday. They had a party to celebrate Belle's birthday, and I made brownies this morning. Okay, so when it is a regular verb and you're making your past tense with it, like past verb, you just add your ed, but then you have your irregular forms, which you all have to do is remember. All right. Put, hit, hit. Lots of my students there, hit it or put it, nothing of that sort is here, okay? So, or irregular. Okay, moving on. So get familiar with the main English verb tenses. Okay, so when you're starting, all right, when you've just started learning English, I understand, learning all your tenses is not possible and it's difficult. Okay, I understand that. But try to learn few of them like present simple. So, and why do we use that? So use your present simple to describe habits and permanent situations. Okay, so whenever you are telling where are you from, use your present simple. So we live in Dublin. I'm from Ireland. I'm from Brazil. I'm from China. Okay, so present simple to describe habits and permanent situations. Present continuous to describe current situations and your future plans. So I am living in Dublin at the moment, or I am meeting Rose later. So talking about your present continuous. Then you have your past simple to describe finish, past actions. So they arrived at 2 p.m. Okay, so something that is gone in the past, you use your past simple. present perfect to describe past actions with unknown time. So when you don't know the time, use your present perfect. Talking about past, but you don't know, we have read the book. When? Not mentioned. So we have read the book. Okay, so again, you have your will to describe future actions. For example, I'll meet you in front of the theater. All right, so these are certain things which, like I said, you won't be able to remember everything, but few of your tenses and their uses, remember them. And the last thing, oh my God, never use a double negative. Again, this one is, oh my goodness, I can't tell you how much my students always do this mistake. In English, there are often two ways to express a negative concept. For example, if you want to say the class is empty, you can say there's nothing in the class or there isn't anything in the class. The words nothing and anything have the same meaning, but nothing is used with an affirmative verb and anything is used with a negative verb. Okay, so you won't say there is I didn't do nothing. I'm just thinking like, what do my students say? Oh, so yeah, I'll ask them, oh, how was your weekend? Oh, I didn't do nothing. Oh, come on, you don't say that. Okay, so you say I did nothing or I didn't do anything. All right, but double negatives are a big no. So don't make that mistake, people. Do not make that mistake. Okay, so this rule applies to other words like nobody and anybody, none and any. This is also true of the words for never. When you talk about experience, you can say he's never been to the UK or he hasn't ever been to the UK. All right. So no double negatives. I did nothing or I didn't do anything.
Right, so that brings us to the end of this lesson, and you are not going to make these mistakes anymore. Until we meet next time, don't forget to like, press the subscribe button, and spread the word. Bye, guys.